All right, welcome back on the show this morning, Talking Entertainment. We're away from all this political razzmatazz this morning. Let's talk entertainment this morning. Nollywood took the spotlight at the Toronto International Film Festival when Nigerian producer Charles Opaleke called for new ways to fund and support the growing film industry in the country. The Nollywood branch was organized by Charles Opaleke and Moses Rabatope. Mr. Opaleke noted that Nollywood has already achieved remarkable things, but warned that strong systems process could fade. Now, he also warned about the risk of digital platforms like YouTube, stating that while this platform have given young filmmakers a chance to share their works, many at the branch worried that the push for quick content might lower the standard. Now, this forms the discussion today on the program. Now, joining us is an entertainment editor at the Nation newspaper. That's Benga Bada. Now, Benga Bada joins us from Toronto in Canada. Good morning. Thanks so much for joining us on the program.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Great to have you on the show. Tell us more about the Toronto International Film Festival.
So, the Toronto International Film Festival is not a new festival. It's one of the biggest film festivals across the world. When the world of film is being spoken about, the Toronto International Film Festival comes first. We have the Banilali, we have the Cannes Film Festival, we have several other film festivals, but the Toronto International Film Festival is one of the oldest and one of the highly respected film festivals across the world when you talk about films. This is my first time of attending. I've had to watch, online and read about the festival, but this is my first time of coming physically to see how it's been done and the processes as well as everything that happens during the film festival. And like every other film festival, it gives opportunity for us, for filmmakers, marketers, investors, to come to a round table and have conversations such as the one we're having today as regards funding, as regards better processing for film industries across the world, as regards collaboration, between film industries across the world.
So in this year's TIFF, like some people call it, films like My Father's Shadow is drawing global attention. What would you say this means for Nollywood's reputation?
So I honestly feel, because aside from My Father's Shadows, we also have a Nigerian film that premiered at TIFF. It's actually a film that was directed by our own Omotola Jalade Kende, and it's actually our first directorial debut. It's called A Mother's Love, and the premiere had quite a number of industry people across the world, showing up to see the film and have conversations around the Nigerian kind of film. I honestly feel that with conversations like this, most of the issues that we have in our film industry, especially especially funding, which is one of the things that people talk about a lot in the industry, are being addressed. I mean, you meet with people from different countries, you meet with people from different mindsets, people who are willing to invest, people who are willing to see or help improve our craft, the way we do it, and give it a more global acceptance if there's anything like that, and with collaboration, it can always get better. So I honestly think this is having Nigerian films, having Nollywood films, show at the TIFF is another plus for the country's film industry.
Okay, can you quickly walk us through the benefits of having to attend this kind of festival and what impact this will make on our film in the country?
So as I said earlier on, aside from having your film screened to a global audience, where you have people say, for instance, you have film distributors who distribute for cinemas across the world say, oh, I can distribute your film. That's an opportunity for any film that qualifies to screen at the festival. You have film distributors, attend and see your film. You have people invest in your probably next project, and you have individuals who do a proper critique of your film, not to bring you down or to bring your industry down, but to make you better in your next production.
Absolutely. Well, and I love the fact that you are real with your analysis, saying this is your first time going there to watch such festival. Can you just share your experience with what you've seen there, the ambience and the likes?
It's been an experience so far. It's been a wonderful experience. I mean, knowing fully that the government of Toronto is backing the film festival is interesting for me, because I know that quite a number of states in Nigeria are also trying, to see what they can do to improve or collaborate with Nigerian filmmakers. But to know that the Toronto International Film Festival is highly backed by the state of Toronto, the government of Toronto, so to say, as it is, as well as other corporate bodies, just shows that the country and the state is giving its all, to back the entertainment industry, the film industry, as it were. And there are experiences from what I've read. I found out that it has helped the country and the state develop a film culture, and I feel...
Mr. Bada, you just have to hold your thoughts there. Let's pay some bills this morning. And when we come back, we'll talk more about some of the collaborations and how the government of Toronto is ensuring a success of this film festival. Do not go anywhere. Definitely, we'll be right back.
In the beating heart of Owerri, business never sleeps. From sunrise to sundown, the wheels keep turning. And behind the scenes, vision meets action. Governor Hope Uzodimma's leadership has turned manifestos into reality, transformations that feels like a miracle. But progress needs peace, and in Imo, it's not left to chance. From land to sky to river deep, Guardians are watching, protecting dreams and opportunity. At Orashi's quiet shore, hydropower is rising, set to energize a growing economy. The change is visible. New roads emerge, industry hums, communities come alive. At the center, a digital revolution. 500,000 young minds trained each year to build the future. As Orashi rises, so does Imo and the hopes of a hard-working people. A new Imo is on the rise.
We're still talking Toronto International Film Festival, and we have Gbenga Bada still on the show this morning. Can you quickly continue with your line of thoughts and the partnership and collaboration that we're seeing concerning the Toronto International Film Festival?
So I was saying that the collaboration the government of Toronto has with the organizers of Toronto International Film Festival is one that I feel we should emulate. I mean, without being sounding too modest, I feel the Lagos State government is trying to do something similar. However, I think it can be done better. Not necessarily giving the government to run it, but a full backing of the government like they have here. I mean, it's the Toronto International Film Festival. It's a company on its own with the organizers running it, and the government of Toronto is backing them with finances, with opportunities, with any form of collaboration they can have. I mean, in terms of having the entire street of, having some part of King Street, some part of Adelaide, some part of Richmond Street, closed down. These are very busy streets in downtown Toronto, and they were closed down. Some parts of them were closed down, for this festival to hold. And I mean, this is something I think we can emulate in some states, or, I mean, without saying Lagos State as a must, some states can emulate, to help further grow our Nigerian film industry. I mean, with this, you have tourists, you have foreigners coming in, people who are film practitioners coming in to enjoy tourism, to meet with the people, to discuss the film business, while also making impact in the country's film business and film industry.
Let's talk comparison now. Let's compare Nollywood movies, Hollywood movies, movies that are made in Canada, for example. Seeing that Nigeria now is getting a lot more international attention, do you think that we have what it takes to compete with movies from the Western world?
So to a large extent, I refrain from comparing, because we are two different countries, we are two different industries. Nollywood, you would agree with me, as we've read several times, and some of us know, it's an industry. It's not an industry that had an organized backing before it became this big. It was just great, of some people, dedication, commitment, passion, that turned this industry into what it is, into this enviable industry that the world is now seeing, everybody's listening to at the moment, compared to these other industries. So I try as hard as possible to refrain from comparing. However, I can tell you for a fact that we have what it is, to be on the global stage. And we can see it in our films. I mean, I've not seen My Father's Shadow screen, but I was able to see Omotola's A Mother's Love. And you could see the people in the room are not just Nigerians. We had other people in the rooms from different countries, film practitioners, people who do film business solely, have good commendations about it, from the production to the lighting to the story that is being told. Quite some people feel that the Nigerian story, the Nollywood story, is all about occultic happenings, a wicked mother-in-law, or people fighting over land, or some bird flying in the sky and all that. Exactly. So I mean, they've come to see that again. Yes, we have moved on. We know we have moved on. But if the world don't see these films that we are churning out now, they still have that mindset of what the Nigerian film story is all about. But A Mother's Love.
But the truth is that those are some of our experiences. That's why you see some of these Nollywood artists will come and tell us about land grabbing, wicked in-laws, and the likes.
I agree, it's part of our life. But again, the problem, one of the problems we have in the United States, which we all know, I mean, it's not trying to ridicule any country, is gone. I mean, you wake up and you hear somebody's in a school or somebody's somewhere shooting sporadically and killing people, and you wonder why. But the Hollywood would not make that the bone of contention in their films. Yes, we see Hollywood films where people shoot, where they kill and all that, but they don't make us believe that the only thing good about America or the US is gone, or getting a license to be gone. So I honestly feel that we also have stories. We have stories about disjointed family. My Father's Shadow that she mentioned the other time. I mean, it's not an occultic story. However, it's a story that we can all relate to in Nigeria. It's about two brothers relating with their brother and with their father during an election period in Nigeria. It actually mirrored some of the stories of 1993, during the political crisis of the June 12 with late Chief MKO Abiola, and all that. So those are stories that we can tell, that are Nigerian stories. I mean, we have good stories of Nigerians who left the shores of Nigeria to go do something better outside the shores of Nigeria, maybe in the US, in the UK, or other parts of the world, and they've gone to do something well. So they are, what I'm trying to say in essence is that there are stories that are better that we have in Nigeria than, occultic or land grabbing or wicked in-laws or what have you. That's just what I'm trying to say.
But how do we balance filmmaking or making films for a local audience or an international audience? Because you have mentioned that, some of that we are talking about wicked mother-in-law or talking about juju or something, but these are the things that we see here. So how do we balance it?
Okay, if you say these are the things you see here,
or
you
some
also
of the
know
things that we see here, let me not restrict myself.
You are a broadcaster.
Yes.
You look very good on air. I'm certain that any other person watching CNC or CBC or what have you, or CNN or BBC or what have you, would also see a broadcaster who's like, they'll be like, oh, these are Nigerians, fine broadcasters, speaking eloquently and all that. Those are also part of good Nigerian stories that we can tell, as far as I'm concerned. So my belief is that we can marry both without necessarily giving one too much of what we should be described as.
So what of the case where the things that we want to see, the global audience, they're not really interested in seeing some of those things? What happens then?
Well,
are we making films for ourselves, or are we all making films for people in Canada, in Toronto?
So, we can tell our story in a global version. How do I mean? The plot, the production, some of the things we've gotten right now are the best ways to tell stories in a global way. How I mean is, how do people see this film? What is the plot? What is the story about? Is it relatable? If it's not relatable, is it something they can imagine? If it's not like so relatable because they've not experienced it, is it something they can imagine? If that can happen, then the world will listen to us.
I love the fact that you said something relatable. Which is where I'm going to pick my next question. What do you make of this issue of the plot, and you don't have the suspense? Sometimes you see some of our filmmakers in Nigeria will just bring out some films, and there are no suspense. You can guess what is happening next. What's your advice to some of those filmmakers that we have in the country?
Okay, so again, I'll give it up to Nigerian filmmakers. They are people who are putting in their best. And it's so interesting to tell you that some of these people, after relating with their foreign counterpart, listen to suggestions of how to make film better, how to create a good film that would give the suspense that you just spoke about and would appeal to a global audience. However, I honestly feel that at this point in Nollywood, filmmakers who don't know their onions, filmmakers who are not working in tune with the global standards, tend to or risk losing their funds or their investments. It's just as simple as that.
And the rush to bring out quality. A lot of people just dump some of these films on YouTube. And what do you make of this rush to put things on the YouTube and with a low standard?
So this is one of the things Mr. Charles Opaleke of Play Studio, discussed during the last Nollywood brunch at the TIFF. He was of the opinion that accessibility to streaming platforms like YouTube, yes, like YouTube and what have you, should not affect the quality, of our storytelling, of the films that we churn out. He also said something about young filmmakers, having, a platform to express themselves, which is fine. However, that should not affect, our production, our storyline, our plot. What makes a good film, what makes a global film, what makes a film that anybody across the world can see at any point in time.
Absolutely. It's a fine place to leave it. Entertainment editor at the Nation newspaper, Gbenga Bada. Many thanks for joining us on the program this morning. I hope you're coming back to Nigeria anytime soon.
Very soon. Once this is over, I'm back in my country. Well, I'll not trade my amala Begiri and Ewedu for anything. Not
Wow,
for spinach, not for
great
burger.
one there. Nigeria is blessed with cultural heritage. Talking about the amala and also the jollof rice.
Since you can make it, you said you can make it, you make it for him.
Well, you just have to come to my house and see how you have the dexterity to make amala, the skills, Banke, this morning. All right, I hope you also go to Toronto, Canada anytime soon.
Very soon, I'll go with you when you're going.
All right, now we just have to take a break. And when we come back from the break, the sport guys are ready to take us into the interesting world of sports. Do not go anywhere. We'll be back.